VC Dark Dove back with you again. Another update. I'll get straight into things. I'll show something which I got ages ago, but I've been meaning to show for quite a while. But last month, this event took place here in Cork. Sounds from Safe Harbour Music and Arts Festival. I attended this event, which was held at our local university, which is about half an hour, about 10 minutes walk from where I live. So it was a kind of a lecture come concert type thing. It was a free event, free of charge. This is Richard Reed Parry, who is multi-instrumentalist, best known for being in Arcade Fire. He was doing a main concert, concert in a venue here in town, but this was a kind of a precursor to it, a free event. So it was to publicise a new album he has out. Music for Heart and Breath, and the kind of basic concept behind it was it's an album which he recorded kind of by means of having him hooked up to a stethoscope and following his heartbeat or other people's heartbeat. So it's all to do with kind of the following kind of human breath or human heartbeat, and with him on the piano, so following these kind of patterns, so to speak. So there's a couple of lecturers from the university there as well who were giving a few speeches and about the kind of the kind of scientific kind of origins of the compositions, and as well as Richard Reed Parry himself playing some of the pieces and going into detail about them as well. So afterwards, it's on Deutsche Grammophon, by the way. It was for sale afterwards, and I got him to sign it, signed there. So he was hanging around after, and nice guy. I didn't have kind of a big long chat with him or anything, just got it signed and spoke briefly. I also got it signed by this lady. What's her name? Nadia Sirota, who played cello, double bass, I think. Anyway, so Richard Reed Parry, Music for Heart and Breath on Deutsche Grammophon. So very, very interesting indeed. It's kind of has a kind of reminds me of Satay, kind of in a way, and it was very nice to grab that and to get it signed by him. Now moving on to, so I think maybe in the last video, or maybe about 2 videos ago, I showed you the soundtrack to Alejandro Jodorowsky's El Topo, of which is being reissued along with several of his other movie soundtracks on Finders Keepers Records. I managed to grab the other one which I was looking for, and that is the soundtrack to The Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain, which came out in 1973. I saw this movie in the cinema, actually, during our film festival here in Cork last year. So I saw it on the big screen, and the screening was then followed by a performance by Nod, who are a kind of space rock collective. So that was quite a spacey kind of an evening. This movie is completely demented, very visual movie, but also the soundtrack plays a huge part in the kind of in the movie. Some of it is by Don Cherry, and there's a huge mixture of styles. It's a double album, by the way. It's a huge mixture of styles from free jazz to kind of acid freakout to kind of proto-ambient. It's all kind of weird, kind of chanting and kind of flute music. So well worth grabbing if you. It was a bit pricey, but it's something that I was really kind of looking out for once I heard that that they were going to release it. So glad to grab that. Okay, now next up is something that's been shown in the VC a bit lately. Ben Costello, you've grabbed this lately, and it's something that's on a lot of people's want lists. It's a very elusive item. It is very expensive, but the reason I was able to grab it is because I sold another item on eBay recently, so I did have the funds to get this because it is quite pricey, and that is Steve Reich, music for 18 musicians. This came out in 1978 on ECM, and this is an original German pressing. It's in absolutely stunning condition. Very, very, very clean copy. Whoever had it beforehand just really did look after it. So it is an absolutely groundbreaking piece of music, which kind of reminds me a bit of Terry Riley's In C, and Steve Reich and Terry Riley would, they would have quite a bit in common. They both come from that minimalist school that emerged in the 50s and 60s. So very glad to get hold of that. Something that had been on my want list for a long time. Steve Reich, music for 18 musicians. Now another online purchase, something I got on Discogs. I bought this. I didn't kind of plan when I was looking at my want list items. Wasn't planning on buying something on that day, but I just happened to see this a quite cheap copy of this pop up. So I just better just grab it because it's going to go pretty soon otherwise. That is Liege and Lief by Fairport Convention. This came out in 1969. I think it's a third or fourth album. So it's an original pressing on Pink Island. Now the reason I think that I got it for quite a good price is this bit of damage here on the sleeve, which is unfortunate, but the disc itself is in absolutely stunning condition. It's really nice, clean copy. Hasn't been played too much, so that is the main thing. So this is a folk rock classic. Vocals by Sandy Denny, Richard Thompson, Dave Pegg. It's just an absolutely classic album. I got it for a very nice price as well, because these Pink Island originals tend to go for quite a bit. It's all this fascinating info on kind of English folk rituals here, and this unusual kind of a picture on the back. So very pleased with that pickup. Moving on, okay, and 9.5 minutes. We're not doing too bad by my usual standards. Next item. Now this is something. Okay, this is an artist who I normally would not pick up. solo stuff by Eric Clapton. Not really a fan of his solo output. I mean, I like what he did in Cream, but I mean, the reason I picked this up is because it's the soundtrack to a TV series, to an absolutely excellent TV series which came out in the 80s, which I also have on DVD. I have the DVD of this, Edge of Darkness. It was released in 1985, BBC political thriller. It was remade, I think, in the 90s with I think Mel Gibson, but that version I think is supposed to be not great. But this is the theme music. It's actually by Eric Clapton and who was it? Eric Clapton and Michael Kamen. So this is on BBC Records. It's a mini album. It's a 45, and this was very cheap. I just happened to spot it, and like normally I wouldn't pick up Eric Clapton solo, but because it's quite a haunting piece of work. This music, which I think perfectly fits the TV series, which is an absolute classic. So anyway, try and watch it, anyone who if you can, because it's really good. What next? Now, 3 items which I picked up at a local flea market. First off, some more soundtrack, soundtrack compilation. This is John Barry, famous for the Bond themes. So this is the great movie Sounds of John Barry. It includes several Bond music themes, also including some the Knack, King Rat. One of my favourites, the Ipcris File. I love that theme music. This came out in 1966 and has that CBS inner bag. This is in absolutely near mint condition, which for an orange CBS is some achievement, because orange CBS, for some reason they always seem to turn up kind of half trashed, but this is absolutely really stunning. It's barely, I think it was barely played. So and it's and I love that CBS bag as well. That's nice little. The CBS bags, they're always nice. They always have a kind of an interesting design, and so nice pickup. Picked up for €5. So that was. Do see John Barry's his soundtracks do tend to go for quite a bit, but whenever I see them in the wild. So with that, I also picked up 2 Kate Bush albums, which I was missing, which were on my want list. So Never Forever. This, I think, was her second one. No, sorry. This is This is her third one. This is from 1980. Never Forever. It's got that kind of weird picture of her on the back with the bats. So this, I had been meaning to pick this up for quite a while. Babushka is probably the best known song on this, and also second album, Lionheart. Saw the two of them together, so grabbed them. I think they probably same person owned them. I think there's a name and a date there. So yeah, so like it's two classic albums. I don't need to go into these too much because I'm sure you're pretty much all familiar with these. So yeah, knocked off my one list. Okay, so the next, excuse me, the next few items that I'm going to show you are all charity shop finds. So there's a bit of a story behind two of them. Okay, first off, I found this in a particular charity shop in town. It was in with a big pile of new vinyl, most of it complete rubbish, but I did make this discovery. So Patti Smith, Patti Smith band, Set Free. So this is a 12-inch from '78. Privilege, which is from the album Easter, Ask the Angels from Radio Ethiopia, and then there's two live pieces, one of which is a spoken word poem. Arista, the disc isn't too bad, it plays fine. I think somebody tried to carve a swastika into her head though, into Patty's hair there. I don't know, is that some sort of tribute to Charles Manson or something or what? I don't know, but there you go. But that was a euro, so that was a nice find. Because it was in the middle of a load of complete dross. I mean, everything else that was there, just complete rubbish. So it was a bit of a nice surprise to come across that. Now the next two items, there is a bit of a story behind these because myself and Ben, I know some of you might know, we made a big haul recently. We went to a location in the countryside where there's a farmhouse full of about 10,000 records. We made, I think, 2 videos each. I think Ben made 2 videos because we made two separate trips. We found some amazing stuff. Now, almost all of those items had this PR signature on them. That they were that's the initials of the deceased gentleman who owned the records. Now, I went into a charity shop here, about 200 miles away from this location, and went through a stack of records that somebody had handed into this charity shop, and they all had this written on them. So they've come all the way from that place. So this is an interesting item. I picked this up for €1 as well. Gaelic psalms from Lewis, that being an island of Scotland. These are psalms in Gaelic, which is Scottish Gaelic, very similar to Irish Gaelic. This came out on a label. What is a label? Tangent Records, which is a kind of a world music, specializes in world music, from around, kind of ethnic music and folk music. So these are kind of religious psalms. They're unaccompanied. They're just there's no musical accompaniment. Recorded in the 70s by these congregations at these churches, at the local churches on the Isle of Lewis. Very interesting. Some of it's not something I'd be listening to on a day-to-day basis, because but it's very interesting all the same. Comes with a booklet as well. I'll just show it you there. It's a very interesting booklet on the history of these psalms and on kind of, kind of Scottish, Protestant tradition of this kind of these kind of psalms singing. So that was a nice find, and it did come all the way from that place where myself and Ben were digging during the summer. The other find, which is also another PR item, is this 12-inch by Baby Ford. And yes, I did show something else by him recently, which I found in a completely different charity shop. So this is Acid House from 1988, and it's called Chicky 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 has this die cut sleeve here. Show you. So yeah, so that was interesting. I'm a big fan of Baby Ford and of that original 80s Acid House. So grab that straight away. Another item which was there, which I have actually seen before, but which I didn't grab. I'm going to show it to you. I took a picture of it. I don't know if you can actually. Oh yeah. Last time I saw this was when I was with Ben down at this farmhouse, 200 miles away, and I actually saw this. As you can see, it's Roxy Music's debut album, but somebody's after drawing a beard and a you know what on the model. So basically, I think they kind of turned her into Phil Manzanera. So the record was completely trashed, and so is, as you can see, the sleeve is just completely defaced. So, but it's weird because to see it again about 6 months later, somebody. It's the exact same copy. I know it's the same copy because it has the initials on it. But it's just turned up again in this charity shop, which is weird. Okay, I've just one more item to show. This is something I actually got ages ago in a different charity shop, but I just forgot to show it. This is Sound 2000 Organ Rhythm. It's an early Moog album from the early 70s, from 1972. This guy, Klaus Wunderlich. It's one of those Moog albums that, there's a kind of Moog craze in the early 70s. I really like these early kind of Moog synthesizer albums. This is on Telefunken, which is a label mainly associated with classical. So, so there's like kind of Moog versions of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head and other kind of standards. So yeah, so I love that kind of that Moog sound. You know, it's got this that kind of weird kind of almost futuristic kind of retro at the same time. Okay, so that's it. That's everything for the time being. Hope you enjoyed this update, and hope everybody has a great weekend. So till next time, all the best.